Good morning and God bless. Welcome back to another episode of Jeff Sunday Service. Make sure as soon as you come in, man, to the service, hit that subscribe button, mash that like button, and turn on that bell for notifications. Visit my other channel, the Smoke Something, Drink Something podcast, man, here on YouTube. But we're going to jump into this week's message. And again, let me go ahead and say it, guys. I ain't a pastor. I'm not a prophet. I'm not an evangelist. I'm not an apostle, right? I don't have the fivefold ministry gifts that Paul talks about. What I'm here to do, guys, just talk about the business of the Bible and the business and how God is in business and how you can tie certain things in the Bible to business, right? This is not look, if you're a religious person and you're a church person and you want to debate scriptures and all that kind of stuff, that's not what we do, man. You go debate. Religious people want to debate scriptures. We're out here in the real world trying to make it, trying to be at the top of our profession, trying to actually execute those scriptures and execute the things that the Spirit of God is moving on. So that's what you guys got to see about Jeff Sunday Service. The reason I'm doing Jeff Sunday Service is because I'm not traditional. I'm not trying to be down here debating people. Okay. So again, guys, just, this is for people who got to get up and go make it happen every day. Got to go make it rain every day and learn how some of these things that are happening can be applied to scriptures and you can apply them so that you win in the business world. You want to be in church and debate what your pastor told you to think and all that. That's not this channel. Okay. So let's get into this thing, guys. Make sure you go to Smoke Something, Drink Something podcast where we talk about what cigar smokers talk about in the lounge, man. And a lot of times you're going to find that if you're trying to get to the next level, you're going to have to end up smoking a cigar at some point because a lot of the people who run this world smoke cigars. But Smoke Something, Drink Something podcast, make sure you follow that. Let's get into this thing, guys. At first, I was going to do a traditional message and all that kind of stuff, but I decided to do something different for Jeff Sunday Service this week. We got 3 topics we're going to discuss, okay? Pastor John Gray makes a crazy statement about his wife. Paula White is influencing policy at the White House with Donald Trump. And then we're gonna finish with my review of the Sinners movie. And y'all want to make sure you stay tuned in for that. But let's jump into this thing right now, guys. See, one of the things you guys got to understand and why I started Jeff Sunday Service is these things are happening in the mainstream media. These things are happening out in the marketplace. And we know that God sent Jesus. Jesus was in the marketplace. Jesus was not holed up in some synagogue when he was actually on his assignment. He was out in the marketplace talking to real people who had real problems and who was looking for real success, real salvation, real change, was tired of tradition and that kind of thing. So I came across this on my feed, and y'all got to know a lot of the people who know me personally will text me and say, Jeff, you got to talk about this, and Jeff, you got to talk about that. So I just kind of pick and choose what I talk about. But this John Gray situation really got me. And one of the things Jesus would always say is, you hypocrite, right? And here's the funny thing, guys. The hypocrite conversation only took place when he was in the synagogue. You didn't have to say somebody was a hypocrite out in the marketplace because at the end of the day, guys, here's what I like about going to the marketplace. I don't have to call you a hypocrite. I can just talk to your customers, right? I can talk to your people you've interacted with. In the marketplace, you can't hide behind a robe. You can't hide behind a title. In the marketplace, you better have a good name or you're not going to survive. However, in church, there's a lot of people who can survive even though the thing they hold you accountable to, right? The thing they hold you accountable to, they don't hold themselves accountable to it. So that's what I want to get into, guys. I hope y'all can hear this. I'm going to try to, for all of you guys who hadn't seen it, let me share this. Okay. Over here at Instagram. Let's see here. Okay, we over here at Instagram, guys. And I'm going to let this play.
I stopped tasting things that didn't belong to me.
Here we go, guys. Let me redo this again. Okay, here we go. I let this play twice.
I stopped tasting things that didn't belong to me.
Let's play this again, guys. We're gonna play this again.
This woman is the only woman I've been inside of, and when I'm thirsty, I drink her. I stopped tasting things that didn't belong to me.
All right, y'all see this? This is Pastor John Gray. And look at the first comment. This must have been before he cheated, right? Where's the pastor? Because I know it can't be Mr. Nasty. And listen to all the silly women clapping and yelling. Dude is a clown. Now, guys, I'm on my computer. I'm not on my phone, so that's why y'all are seeing it like this. But look at these 3 comments. And this is one of the problems pastors are having because they're going out on podcasts, they're going out on all these things, and they're trying to be accepted by the world because all of us get paid by clicks and all that kind of stuff, right? Everybody do it for clicks and views. And I'm just surprised he said this, guys, because this is what's hurting church. I did a video on Juanita Bynum. On Juanita Bynum and how her behavior is hurting church attendance and why people are getting further and further away from God. Y'all got to understand when these people from church come out into the real world and they got a different audience than people who are church people, they sound crazy. These are the first 3 comments on this video. And I'm gonna link this channel. I'm gonna link this channel, guys, in the description of this video so you guys can see it. And let me tell y'all why I got a problem with it. Fundamentally, what he said was wrong. Fundamentally, what he said was not wrong. If you love your wife like that, that's cool. If you love the girl you're with, that's fine. But what he's doing right now, guys, is he's out here in the mainstream. That's why I started this. Because I used to be a diehard church boy. And what you learn about church is what you learn in church don't work when you leave outside of the church, which is why they got to keep you in there. So he's on the podcast, he's on the stage, he's talking like this. But the problem that he has, guys, is that these receipts are killing them. Let's go there real fast. A quick Google search and look at what comes up. Oh, shoot. Hold on, guys. A quick Google search and look at what comes up. Pastor John Gray publicly honors wife after cheating again. My wife deserves better. Guys, this is from November 10th, 2020. Pastor John Gray is making headlines again for allegedly cheating on his wife. He took the Instagram Friday to honor his wife and says despite the fact that he has emotionally cheated, he never slept with another woman. A few months ago, I sat down from leading at Relentless. My life wasn't in order. Church isn't first. My wife is. This is my wife. She is from God. She is a life giver. She's a kingdom builder. Her name is Aventer. The popular South Carolina pastor of the Relentless Church has been accused of cheating as far back as 2019. He claims that when he and his wife were having problems, he confided in someone other than a counselor or pastoral leader and admitted that that was wrong. Despite Gray's insistence that he did not physically cheat on his wife, however, there remains speculation that the affair was in fact more than emotional. In a lengthy Instagram post, Gray said the marriage is about consistent growth. I never knew about consistent discipline, planning, leadership, manhood, or personal holiness in action from a man's standpoint look like. Living a shadow life, God was unwilling to let me die, assuming I was whole. I failed to uphold a holy standard of God in my marriage. Guys, I'm gonna link this article because we don't have to go through it. I think y'all can see where I'm going, right? I think y'all can see where I'm going. I don't have a problem with any man honoring his wife, but I'm gonna tell y'all like this. The reason why I have a problem is somebody submitted to this man, and if that man did that, that man don't get a platform in that church anymore. That man gets condemned. That man gets sat down, right? So again, I want you guys to see what's happening here on why this is so detrimental to church attendance. Because the first thing people are going to do if they see John Gray, let's just say that clip made people intrigued about the things of God. What's going to happen when they go see everything else? Y'all remember in the first video I did, we talked about church hurt. And when people see what the head guy is accused of, and here's the deal, guys, I don't care that he did it, right? God is a faithful God. God is a forgiving God, right? I don't care about the act that he had. But what you can't do is go out there and brag that you're something that you're not. That's why the hypocrite message comes into play with a guy like John Gray. So I want y'all to kind of read that article from 2020 to what he's just saying right now. And that's why if you get into the comments on any of the Instagram posts or any of the YouTube videos on this guy, they're killing him in the comments because of the double life. And no man can serve two masters. He either gonna love one and hate the other. And what's happening right here, guys, you got to make sure that your pastor is not a sideshow. If you're going to have a pastor, make sure he's not a sideshow once he's out of church. And when the audience changes, does the reception change? And what y'all are seeing right now is church people going to get in the comments and say, oh, he's a man of God, blah, 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 blah. But in reality, John Gray can't make it out here if he had to come into the marketplace like Jesus did. And that was one of the first messages I put. Can your pastor make it in the marketplace? Is anybody letting him lead in the marketplace? Is he calling shots in the marketplace? Because that's what it's about. Now, that transitions me into the next story. We talked about Paula White having influence, guys, and I had to bring this up because no matter what you think about Paula White, I want y'all to see what happened, what the White House did this past week. We're going to jump into this thing. Let's go over here. Hopefully everybody can see this. President Trump announces Religious Liberty Commission members. Guys, this is huge, right? Today, the president signed an executive order establishing the Religious Liberty Commission during the National Day of Prayer event in the Rose Garden. President Trump designated the following individuals to serve on the Religious Liberty Commission. Now, why do I want y'all to see this? I'm going to go through, I ain't going to read everybody's bio. I want y'all to see the names. Because what Paula White is doing, regardless of what you think of Paula White, she's helping impact policy based on her profession. Your pastor should be in the halls of authority making an impact like this. And if he's not, that's a problem, guys. That's why I started Jeff Sunday Service, because at the end of the day, we have to utilize these scriptures and these teachings in the marketplace. And once you can transition to the marketplace, I used to tell a good friend of mine, once you know business like you know that Bible, nobody can stop you. So let's get into this thing, guys. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick from Texas. Ben Carson, right? Dr. Ben Carson. Ryan Anderson. Bishop Robert Barry. Carrie Bowler. Cardinal Timothy Dolan. Pastor Franklin Graham. Allison Ho. Dr. Phil McGraw. We all know Dr. Phil. Eric Metaxas. Kelly Shackelford. Rabbi Mir Soloveitchik, I guess that's how you do it. And then let's get down here, guys. Pastor Paula White. Look at what it says. Pastor Paula White is the founder and president of Paula White Ministries and the National Faith Advisory Board. She is an overseer and a teacher pastor at Story Life Church in Greater Orlando, Florida. Pastor White was an advisor to Donald Trump in the Faith and Opportunity Initiative during his first term in office, and now she serves as a senior advisor to the White House Faith Office. Guys, the scripture tell you your gift gonna make room for you and bring you before great men. Now, I know a lot of people hear Paula White and they don't want to hear anything else, right? Prosperity gospel, fraud, scam artists, all the things that's going to be attached to her. But the one thing you can't deny, guys, is this. She's impacting policy that's going to impact the entire world. Because if America sneezes, the whole world catches a cold. Now, whatever you think about Donald Trump, that's not what we're here to discuss. Paula White, look at John Gray and look at what Paula White is doing. Paula White realizes that I got to get into policy. Because if I go to the Middle East, guys, that Quran shapes policy. But in America, the Bible is not creating policy anymore because nobody who's in the church can actually go out and give that message to where it impacts the masses. Now, why am I doing this with you guys? We ain't gonna spend a whole lot of time on Paula White, because I know y'all really want to hear about the Sinners movie, right? I got one more article I want y'all to share. This is how you know Paula White is being impactful, because this is what happens in the real world when you get a promotion. And I want everybody's going to be able to relate to this. Let me pull up my next. Everybody's going to be able to relate to this. We going over here to the Guardian. Look at this title. Look at that title. We're over here at the Guardian. Yeah, we're going to get a couple pop-ups because I'm not a subscriber. Look at that pop-up, guys. False teacher. Trump picked to head White House Faith Office roles fellow Christians. Notice, guys, the people out in the marketplace don't care. This thing rolls some fellow Christians. Paula White, a multimillionaire televangelist who speaks in tongues, was criticized for an alleged cash for blessings scheme. Now, y'all can go back, and I talked about it in my first video, Den of Thieves and that kind of thing. And so what you gonna see right now, this article was written April 5th. On the campaign trail, Donald Trump reportedly promised to protect religious liberty. Repeatedly promised, I'm sorry. And 2 weeks after his inauguration, he acted, creating a White House faith office, which will be led by Paula White, a millionaire televangelist known to speak in tongues, who called the Black Lives Matter movement the Antichrist and encouraged people to buy resurrection seeds for $1,114. The move brought renewed focus on White, Trump's longtime spiritual guru, and for White, not all of it will be welcome. In March, she was criticized for an alleged cash for blessing scandal, while other right-wing Christians are unhappy with the new government role, with one describing White as a 100% false teacher. White will be senior advisor of Trump's faith office, which announced, along with executive order, created a task force to eradicate anti-Christian bias. Right? Look at this, guys. While I'm in the White House, we will protect Christians in our schools, in our military, in our government, in our workplaces, hospitals, in our public squares, and we will bring our countries back together as one nation under God with liberty and justice for all. Trump said in speech. Look at what he's gotten Paula White to do, guys. Everybody you talk to, if you're a Christian and you grew up in the church, it's us against the world. The world don't respect us. The world don't want our influence, that kind of thing. He has now called Paula White to help implement this along with the other names. Do y'all see the difference between what's happening with John Gray, what he's over here talking about, flesh and blood? Here's what happens, guys. Flesh and blood should not inherit the kingdom. I don't care what you're doing with your wife, right? We done got so caught up in flesh stuff over here in the church. Paula White is over here with Donald Trump's personal cell phone impacting policy in the marketplace. Look at what happened. We gonna protect Christians. Why do you have to protect Christians? Because Christians are under attack, just like Jews are under attack, right? In our military, in our government, in our workplace, in our hospital, in our public squares, and we will bring our countries back together as one nation under God. Guys, all these places are where you're supposed to go. You're not supposed to be holed up in no church. You should be in these places right here, and your work ethic should be so high, your insight, your spiritual wisdom should be so high that people are wondering, how does this man or woman do this? What matter of man does this stuff? And that's what Paula White is showing y'all. Separate out what you may think about her. She is in the West Wing helping impact policy as it relates to faith. That's what everybody's spiritual leader should be doing. Because if you're not doing that, how will you impacting change? Because, yeah, we can talk heaven and hell, but we got to live right now. We got dominion on earth right now. Paula White is helping bring back dominion. Again, guys, this will be, I'll link this. I'll link this in the description, right? Notice what he's talking about. He's talking about her old things that she did. Okay. He's talking about that. He's not talking about anything else. And that's why I told y'all at the beginning, when you're dealing with religious people, all they want to do is debate stuff. They don't want to look at how to impact stuff. Okay. This is what's happening. Can you impact change? Can you get into the powers that be in their office and help bring the kingdom of God principles to the forefront? So at the end of the day, guys, I'm not here to debate Paula White and her teachings. What I am here to do is say congratulations for being next to the person who's making the decisions for the entire country. Guys, that was the key there. Helping make decisions for the entire country. Again, this will be linked in the description. Finally, I know what y'all are here for. The movie Sinners. The movie Sinners. I've been seeing. I never go see a movie on opening weekend anymore. When you get old, you don't want to be out there with all that, as they call it, riffraff, right? So I gotta wait, and I never go to the movie at night anymore. I got to go in and cheat when it's a matinee. And I saw the movie, and I said, I gotta go see this. I saw some takes on this movie, and I'm like, you know what, guys, let's go see what we got here. And I can tell y'all like this. I think cinematically that was a great movie. I was telling my sister Rhonda, I said, when you go see the movie, I think Anthony Hamilton should have played Preacher Boy. Don't get me wrong, the guy could sing. He was a great singer, but Anthony Hamilton would have been perfect for that role based on, no different than what he's saying in American Gangster, is what I'm saying. But let's talk about the movie. Michael B. Jordan, good movie, guys. I'm not gonna tell you it's a bad movie. But what I will tell you, you're gonna learn from it is your past, you can't outrun it. You can't outrun your past. And But what you also got to understand is the people closest to you have to be the ones that destroy you. If I can get to the people closest to you, you can only fight so much because of how much love you have for them. Okay. Now, I thought the movie was good. I saw where it's already made, you know, let me pull that up for y'all too. That way I can get that out of the way and finish this thing up. Um, let's go over here. I just wanted y'all to see this one topic. We over here at the Independent. And y'all look at this. Marvel's Thunderbolt has successful opening day at the box office while Sinners continues to have impressive hold. I want y'all to see this, right? I ain't gonna worry about Thunderbolts. I don't care about that. And I apologize for all these ads, guys. Okay, here we go. Where are we at? Okay. Elsewhere in the box office, Ryan Coogler's vampire horror Sinners had another successful weekend, making $9.5 million on Friday, down just 27% from its daily a week ago. Stars Michael B. Jordan in dual roles, playing twin brothers who return from Chicago to their hometown in the 30s of Mississippi. It recently made history as the first horror film to receive an A rating by the Viewer Poland Cinema Score. It was also shown an impressive staying power at the box office since debuting 2 weeks ago and has already tripled its $48 million weekend. Guys, what I've seen is this movie has made almost $217 million. $217 million on a budget of $90 million. So just trust me, there's going to be a series of this. The sequel is already in order. Why am I saying this to you guys? I think this movie, Sinners, showed you that everybody's dealing with a lot of stuff that they can't overcome. And what happens is sin and money are hard to overcome. And what you guys are going to see about this movie is that anything authentic died, right? Anything authentic died, but anything that was false lived on. And it's the number one thing you got to accept about this movie when you watch it. Because guess what? The we saw, some there's a lot of love making in there. There's a lot of intimate moments in it. But the intimate moments there was only a few authentic intimate moments. The rest of the intimate moments were tied to the vampires expanding their presence. Why am I saying that to you guys? It's a typical movie of good versus bad. That's all it is, good versus bad. And what you're going to find is sin going to live alongside you no matter where you go. Sin going to live alongside you no matter where you go. But the question is, do I partner with sin or do I just keep walking and let that sin just continue to walk? The 23rd Psalm says, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, right? You got a choice you're going to make. And here's what happens, guys. Just like on the movie Get On Up. A devil ain't got no horns with no pitchfork. That devil gonna be something that you like and something that you want to partake of. What I thought Sinners was a take on the Garden of Eden. I thought it was a little bit of a take on the Garden of Eden and some other things in the Bible, 7 sons of Sceva, that kind of thing. That's what I kind of get from it. But what you're gonna find is you're gonna get asked to partake of certain things. And if you partake, you die, but it gives the appearance of life. But if you don't partake, you still die. And what do I mean by that? Eventually, if you don't partake, what they try to make you think is you're not going to enjoy the good life. You're not going to stay relevant. If you don't partake, you're going to get old and you're going to be living off of the old. You're not going to have fulfillment. At the end of the movie, what does Preacher Boy say? Before the sun went down, that was the best 4 hours of my life. And y'all going to get that point when he gets there. So if I partake, I get to live on in infamy. You may not like me, but I get to live on. I get to stay relevant. And that's what the movie taught you. The Christian doesn't change. The Christian does the same thing they've always done from even slavery time. But sin evolves. And that's why sin continues to have power, because it evolves with the time. Look at what I just told you about John Gray. When I was growing up, a pastor would have never said nothing like that. But guess what? There wasn't no such things as likes and clicks and views. Sin is evolving, but the people of God are not. How are the people of God supposed to evolve? Through the Holy Spirit in the marketplace. The reason people are not evolving with the things of God is because we got a lot of church hurt. And we got a lot of pastors who are to show that the scripture said, Jesus said, I didn't come to be served, but to serve. Well, right now in the Christian church, we're inverted. We're serving the pastor instead of the pastor serving us. Giving me a word is not serving me. Getting in the halls of Congress and city council and state houses, getting in the plate and getting into these companies where putting on speeches at their sales meetings and their marketing meetings is where we're supposed to be, right? That's how we go into all the nations preaching and teaching the gospel with signs and wonders following. When I left that movie, I wanted to be a sinner. I didn't want to be a saint. The sinners lived on and the sinners started being relevant. The Christian over here, playing the same music, happy to get $200 and about to die. That's what the problem is. We can't make a movie about Christians overcoming. We got to make a movie about sinners overcoming. And that's what I want you guys to see. I apologize for holding you long, man. Thanks again for tuning in to another episode of Sunday Service. I done preached the word. Got to get ready to go to Cracker Barrel just like I did in the old days. You know, after you finish preaching, got to go in and get you a good old meal. I think I'm going to head down to Cracker Barrel and get me my fried catfish and enjoy the rest of this day. Hopefully catch some NBA playoffs. Thanks again for tuning in to another episode of Jeff Sunday Service. Get down in the description. All these internet websites will be linked. If this word sowed into your heart and you want to support this channel, hit the link in the description to help support the channel. Make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe. Follow the other channel, Smoke Something, Drink Something podcast, man. Appreciate you guys tuning in, and let's make it a good week. Go into the nations, preaching and teaching the gospel with signs and wonders following. And until then, make it a good week. God bless.